Alrighty, folks. One of the things that I love to do Sunday morning is introduce you to new people with new stories. I got a great one for you today. Rick and his wife just closed on property number 31. It looked to be a single family home in Georgia. I don't know about you, but I want to hear that story and how the heck they got to 31. Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing good today. Thank you.
Awesome,
Uh,
awesome.
it's been a fun journey for me and my wife. We've this last 31st rental, and our ultimate goal is to get to 50,
Okay.
um, maybe more, but that's been our goal for the last few years. We've picked up majority of them. I'd say 26 of them in the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Really hit the ground running. I had my first rental back in 2012, though. That's sort of what started it all.
Okay. All right. So let's break down the origin story, right? We'll get to the first couple, and then we'll talk really about how the heck you scaled to 26 in 3 years. But take us back to 2012. Was this an accidental rental where you moved out of your house? Was this a on purpose rental? What was that first deal?
So the first deal was a property that my grandmother owned that none of the family wanted. It was in
I've heard
a
that
very
before. Yeah.
bad location, and for lack of a better term, the hood.
Hmm.
And none of the family wanted it. And she came up to me and she said, "Hey, Rick, I was a single father at the time with two kids, working my way through college, working full time." He says, "I know you've always liked rentals or talked about properties, and I'd wanted to get my real estate license." And she said, I'm going to give this property to you."
Okay.
Now I was excited about it, but I knew what was really going on. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
So
She was handing you a problem.
yes, she gave it to me for $1,
Okay.
and I spent that entire summer, myself and my kids, working over there every day, in between work or weekends, after hours. Got it good enough to put a tenant in it.
Okay.
First tenant we had to evict, of course, very fast. I didn't really know what I was doing screening tenants, but
Sure.
got a good tenant there after that one, and that really catapulted me to learning. I was also working on my accounting degree,
Okay.
so I understood finances. I was working for a CPA firm. I was one of their top accountants, so we specialized in small business. So a bunch of my clients had rentals, and I'd watched them grow, and I knew the window was closing in 2012. I was like, I got to get in the game. I got to get in the game. I got to figure out how to get in.
All right.
So, with that property, I went and got a home equity line of credit. I
Of
had a
course, because you have equity now.
15,000.
It's rented, it's cash flow.
That's
You own it
right.
free and clear because it cost you a buck. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that makes
So
sense.
I got a $15,000 line of credit, and then I was also in school full time.
Hmm.
So I did one subsidized loan for $5,000,
Okay.
and I was, of course, saving every penny I could, but it was tough to do that as a single father working full time and in school.
Yeah,
So
I
I got
bet.
it between. I had access to 20 grand,
Okay.
and I had a second opportunity. And I found a short sale, which there's nothing short about a short sale.
No, no.
Took us about 8 months to close on that one,
Okay.
but I got it for 20,000, and that was
Ah,
exactly how much I had. So
okay.
now I've got my second property free and clear.
Right.
The first property's now got a home equity line maxed out, and I own the school $5,000.
Okay, got it.
So for the next 3 years, I just busted my butt to pay off that debt and to be
Okay.
debt free again. So I got both the properties available.
Makes sense. Okay.
Well, in 2015, working for the CPA firm, I got the opportunity. I had a elderly couple who owned a home health company, and they said if I could come up with $60,000, they would owner finance me an $800,000 loan to buying their business.
Oh, okay.
So now I have two properties that are free and clear. So I went and put a mortgage on both of them and came up with my 60 grand and bought into the business, and also at the same time got my real estate license.
Okay.
So for 5 years though, after getting that business, I was really busy, really busy. Not only was I still the head accountant at the CPA firm,
Yeah.
I was 50-50 owner with the head CPA at the CPA firm. We were 50-50 owner of the home health care company.
Oh, wow.
We
Okay.
we grew that from 75 employees to 150, and
Woo.
and COVID when COVID happened in 21, that was the best thing that ever could happen for me. I hate
Okay.
that so many others struggled, but home health really took off.
Yeah, I can only imagine,
No-
right? It was kind
no-
of the right place, right time.
Nobody wanted to be in assisted living facilities or nursing homes. Everybody wanted to stay in home and have their parents looked
Oh,
after.
yeah. It was a death sentence, at least in the beginning, it seemed to be. So that's a great story. So when you were scaling the business and you were really busy, I mean, I'm not even sure when you slept, right? You were the head CPA, growing a business, still being a father. I mean, you were burning the candle at both ends.
I absolutely, and I continued to. That was the only way I knew how to do it. Even prior to that, I had a brief venture of owning a moving company,
Okay.
and did that for some years, but didn't understand accounting, which is why I went and got my accounting degree.
That's right. Let's go solve that problem.
Yes, yes, work on where I'm weak. Um,
There you go. There you go. Well, that is a lot of fun. I do want to break down the, how the heck do you do, what is it, 26 deals in the last 3 years? What was the secret sauce? Was it seller financing? Was it just this money machine from the business doing down payments? What was it?
well, in 21, I sold our home health care company, and we
Oh,
had
okay. So a liquidity event.
yes, cash buyer came in from New York and offered us the exact number we wanted. Here
Go.
you go. On a
Take it.
platter. It is yours. So after that, I looked at my wife and I was like, baby, I've had my real estate license now for about 5 years. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I'm ready.
Right.
I understand financial accounting. I understand how banks operate. Or I'm doing financials for them all the time.
Okay.
And so I was trying to find deals, and I was
Sure.
looking every day on the MLS, and agents are doing what agents are supposed to do. They're getting the maximum they can for their buyer, which
Right.
I can't fault them. It just didn't work really good for me.
Yeah, the numbers don't really work when you're paying retail.
It doesn't. So I started looking into wholesaling. I was
Okay.
like, man, maybe I can find a good deal this way. But at that point, I couldn't find a wholesaler that I trusted or felt comfortable doing business with.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
Yeah.
even if they had the property under contracts. But the more I looked into it, and I had a little cash egg, and I told my wife, I was like, we're going to find our own deals.
Yeah. Okay.
So we started uh, wholesaling, but intentionally it wasn't to be for everybody; it was just for me.
Yeah,
And
you're gonna be a pipeline for your own deals.
that's exactly right. But within 2 months, I had 12 properties under contract.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't buy this many.
Yeah, I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Not that good. Too fast. So I unfortunately I went to my the head CPA and I put in my 2 week notice. I said,
Okay.
hey,
All right. So you're taking
I
off the
didn't
yeah, you're reducing the workload, the stress.
I didn't expect it to take off like this.
Yeah.
Well, over 3 years, we did a lot of wholesales. I
Yeah.
had a team of about 5 employees that we grew the staff up to. We had cold
Wow.
callers in the Philippines. We had
Sure.
people doing texting for us in Pakistan, and we probably did 200 transactions, wholesale transactions,
Now,
and
was this all over the state? Was just
just
Georgia?
just Georgia,
All right.
and
So you
not Atlanta. I don't understand prices in Atlanta.
yeah. Okay.
Uh,
All
so
right.
we did really good, and I was just taking the pick of the litter. So
Yeah.
whenever,
This is very much Jason Pritchard's story, right? He built up a big business and now he's just cherry picking,
well,
right?
about 6 months ago, I shut down the wholesaling.
Really?
I
Okay.
did. I did. I was ready. I told my wife, I was like, I've been burning the candle for 10 years. I'm
Yeah.
ready to enjoy life. We have 5 kids together. Three
Wow.
of them,
Okay. You're
yeah,
busy.
3 of them have moved on.
Okay.
25, 22, 21. They're out doing their own thing.
Okay.
And I don't even remember being around much. I was always
Yeah.
hustling. She had two, I had two, and then we had one together. I know I
Yeah.
told her I was a single father of 2 kids,
Right.
but
Right.
I it was just always a blur. So I
Yeah.
told my
I can
wife, I was
imagine.
like, I want to try to be involved. And that's
Nice.
been interesting of these last 6 months of I've had, even though we do flips, right now we're working on 4 flips and we have our rentals and I self manage. I still twiddle my thumbs and try to find stuff to do.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, again, you've first off, you've clearly earned the right to take a break. You know, I've met a lot of guys in my career, a lot of people, women as well, who have a season of burning the candle at both ends. One of two things happen. One, you recognize what you're doing for yourself, and you just remove yourself, like you've done. You're like, hey, I gotta stop this for a minute. You gotta reorient yourself, and then maybe you get back after it in some way later. Or the other outcome is you keep doing it, and really bad things happen. Right, health falls
Yeah.
apart, relationships crater. Um, so I'm glad you saw that. So when you really talk about the 26 you found, so you found the deals, you manufactured them. So that's cool. Now, were these just straight up cash purchases? Were you doing seller financing, sub twos? What was the acquisition
Um,
means?
I've got a commercial lender that when I found him, I told my wife, I was like, we have found a unicorn.
Okay, I
This
like it.
is what I've been looking for. And he'll do a commercial loan for me with a 20-year amortization, 3-year balloon.
Okay.
He'll loan me 85% of the purchase plus rehab.
Oh,
And
plus rehab.
plus rehab. And he told me from day one, I always want you to be worst case scenario on the rehab. As long as the numbers work, let's run this.
Okay.
So I always make sure there's plenty of fudge in there on the rehab. So by the time we purchase the property and do the rehab, if I'm under budget like I should be, I've used very little of my cash.
Right. That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
then
So
6 months to a year later, we get a tenant in, we stabilize it, and I go to a DSCR now that I'm maxed out on conventionals.
all right. So let me just pay this timeline out for the folks kind of following along. So you went out and found a relationship, which again, lots of everybody does. Commercial banker. Commercial banks aren't resi loans, right? These aren't 30-year fixed. They can kind of create their own rules. And the program he had for you was 85% of purchase, which means you have to come up with 15% down. However, he is also going to do repairs, which you can estimate probably in escrow, and he wants you to be conservative, meaning if you think it's going to cost 12, he wants you to ask for 15, right?
Yes.
Those kinds of numbers. And um, does he include the 15 in the initial loan, or is that 15 on draws?
And the initial loan.
Okay, so what would be like? What was the last purchase price or a sample purchase price? I just want to
So
play it
just
out in my head.
the 31st rental right here. I bought it. We were under contract for 52,000.
Okay,
But I told him $20,000 worth of rehab,
okay, so
approximately. I don't know the
that's
exact numbers, but and he gave me a loan for approximately 64.
okay. So I just want to play this out. So again, you lock this up at 52. It's in contract. You go to your commercial broker. You get bids or series of bids, or you build it yourself. You say you need 20, which makes the whole thing 72.
Mm-hmm.
He then loans you, I don't know, call it, I already forgot the number, 60,
85%.
yeah, 85% of that, which for this case, 63 of that pays for the 100% of the purchase price.
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep, I don't know, 10 of the
Mm-hmm.
next 20 grand. That's how that kind of
Yes.
plays out.
Yes.
Okay, great. Then you do your thing. Let's say it's an average flip. It takes you 4 months to do all of the work. Then I'll say 3 months, then another month to get the right tenant in, because you've been doing this long enough to know not to get a bad tenant. So sometimes you got to wait. You
Mm-hmm.
get the tenant in, you probably let it season a month. Then you go to a DSCR lender, which will do a new value on as is plus rental income, which probably most of the time gives you all the cash that you need to pay off the first lender. You may have had to come up with a couple of grand here and there, but probably not a lot.
I typically would do rate and term and
Oh,
roll
rate
in
and
the
term. Oh,
rate and
nice.
term, roll in the closing cost into the note. I want to show up at the closing table. Hope unless I'm buying points, I don't
Okay.
want to show up with hardly anything.
That makes sense.
So I've
That's
got
beautiful. Okay.
yeah, I buy our property 75% ARV minus repairs. So if I've
Right.
done my math right, I should have 25% equity. and
Mhm.
my minimum cash flow per property has to be $400.
I love that.
We found that the $100,000 to $220,000 range is sort of our sweet spot. I
Mhm.
don't go for the C minus or the D plus, D minus rentals. We
Yeah.
like B minus,
Yep.
C plus, maybe even a B plus here and there if I can get it for the right price.
Yeah.
Um, but that's been our MO, and we've got 4 counties that are all touching, and that's our buy box. I
I
tell everybody, I've blasted it
love
out, and
that.
luckily over the last 4 years, we've made a bunch of good relationships, and so
Yeah,
people
it's
now send me deals.
yeah, no, I mean, again, one of the superpowers that if you do this long enough, because one of my rules, I think it's rule number 3, is you need to try to meet 2 new people a week. And what's
Mm,
really fascinating by that is if you do it for a year, that's 100 people. You do it for 3 years, that's 300 people. And eventually you get to a size like you are where you could turn off the mailings and turn off the cold callers and or texters in Pakistan and the Philippines and still get deal flow. It's
mhm.
wild.
Well, we were spending $50,000 a month on deal flow with all of our advertising. It's expensive,
Oh yeah,
and
it's overhead.
I was actually, I think it was you had Coach Carson with you. You and Coach Carson were talking about enough is enough. When is
Exactly.
enough enough? And I'd been telling my wife about 6 months ago, which is about the time I ran into one rental at a time. Unfortunately, before that, I was having to listen to the I think it was
The doomers.
Doomsday people, and then I was having to look for the Cinderella story people and try to find some kind of middle ground. But you've actually taken a lot of work off my shoulders now. I just listen to the daily financial news every day, and I'm like, okay, I don't have to check CNBC or anything.
I
I've got
like
it
it.
super.
I like it. I appreciate that, Rick. Yeah, the Daily Financial News is, I love that show because the crazy thing is, I've been doing that exact same thing for 30 years. I wake up, I pour myself a cup of coffee, and I read the news for 60 to 90 minutes. The only difference now is I have a page of notes, right? Here's my
Yeah.
page of notes from this morning. And so I
Well,
love that show.
you saved me a lot of time. So
You're welcome.
I can just ride in the car and listen. I don't have to read. You can only be an expert at so many things. I've
Yeah,
let you feed me
I
that
appreciate that.
information.
I appreciate that. That is awesome. So 31, all single families?
All single families. I'd love to get a multi, but so far in our area, I haven't found one that I've liked the location or I feel like the numbers work. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
being too picky, but if I'm going
Hey,
to step
man.
into a new
Yeah.
category of something
Yeah.
that I haven't done before, it's got to be a good deal.
Oh, it's got to be a home run, right? If it's
Yeah.
going to be worth the risk, right? Again, one of the things that I see a lot of successful people do, and you're not making this, so you're a unicorn here, is for some reason, right around the eighth, ninth, 10 property, it's almost like you guys get bored. Like I keep hitting doubles, I keep hitting doubles, I keep hitting doubles. Oh, I'm going to try to stretch it to a triple. Oh, thrown out, lost money. Dude, just
Yeah.
keep hitting doubles. You could go to the Hall of Fame hitting doubles. It's okay.
I have enjoyed hitting doubles, and
There's nothing wrong with that.
this is if at this pace, I told my wife 3 or 4 flips a year and manage our rentals and pick up 1 or 2 more a year over the next couple of years. I don't care. I
It's
don't
a
care.
beautiful life. That's
So
awesome.
yes, yes.
Oh, man. All right. So let's break it down for folks. Let's talk to somebody who's, here's this video and is inspired to get started. What are the first couple of things, Rick, that you would say to somebody just getting started? I'm sure you get asked all the time, but what are the first couple of things?
First couple of things out from all I can speak is from my experience and
Yeah.
from what I tell others is try to get prepared.
Hmm.
When the deal comes and you can't pull a trigger, that deal is gone because the
Yeah.
deals don't stay. You got
No.
to be ready to be a trigger puller. So have either access to cash or somebody else that has the cash or home equity line. Go ahead and do the necessary steps so that when a deal comes, you're not scrambling looking for a hard money lender or getting raked over the coals by a shark.
Yeah.
Um, if you're prepared, when that deal comes, just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Double check your numbers, but pull the trigger. Relationships help tremendously too. I think reaching out to as many agents as you can in the area. I think knowing what you're looking for is very huge. You say it all the time. Know your buy box.
Yeah.
Stick with what you know. And if you'll focus on an area, I've been focusing on our area for 10 years now. I know when something's a good deal real fast. I don't have to really crunch the numbers. If it's Lake
Yeah.
Wildwood, I know what things are selling for, price per square foot. Give
There
me
you
the
go.
square feet. Is it 3.2? Let's buy it. Put in an offer.
Yeah.
I
Let's
don't know.
go.
Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Talk about how you found your lender, right? Was that just a happenstance? Were you actively trying to do it? How did this commercial lender get into your orbit?
So with me wholesaling,
Hmm.
I would always sort of frown when somebody said that they were doing anything other than hard money. I was like, oh, I don't know. If you're not
I don't.
hard money or cash, I really don't want to mess with any lender. And
Sure.
I had this one buyer who said, no, 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 my guy's different. I promise you, I can close in 2 weeks. And yes, it's a bank. And yes, I know you don't like it, but just give me a chance. Let me show you.
Okay.
Well, I hemmed and hawed, but I said okay because I couldn't sell it to anybody else.
Yeah, I get it.
So we get to the closing table, and I make sure I'm at every closing table, and I'm trying to get that Google review.
Right.
And I was amazed with how easy the closing was. So I asked the buyer, I said, tell me more about this lender.
Yeah, I'm interested
I'm
now.
interested. Well, I prior to that, I have a bunch of relationships with attorneys, and I had asked every one of our closing attorneys who they recommended as lenders. So I had a long list of lenders, and I'd already reached out to all of them, but none of them, it really didn't jive for the commercial. They wanted to do a
Yeah.
7-year note or a 10-year note, and it wasn't going to cash flow ever, or they wanted
Yeah.
too much down, or they didn't loan the rehab. I was like, this isn't what I'm looking for. And I was just operating off cash flow at the time, and it was
Mm,
slow, but
yeah.
I would still buy one here, buy one there, and just cash flow it, then DSCR, get my cash back. But when I found my guy, I told my wife, I was like, here we go. If he can do what he says he can do, we're about to test the waters.
That's right. We are about to hit the accelerator. So how many deals have you pushed through him? Is it all 26 or how many
Oh,
do
we've
you think
also
he's done?
probably done 80 flips through him.
Oh wow.
So
So
he's
he's just dialed in.
he's me and him. I mean, he can close. They have a board meeting every other Wednesday, and as long as I can get him the paperwork by Monday before that Wednesday, he can present it to him, and I can close the next day after the board meeting.
Wow,
So
there you go.
we've got
Well,
enough.
let's try to peel this back for someone maybe that obviously doesn't have your guy. So, what are the characteristics of the bank? Is it just a one stop shop, one place? Is it a small
It's a
community
tiny
bank?
small bank, but I've actually got another lender now, um, who is a private money lender that will also loan 85% purchase plus rehab, but his interest rates are a little bit higher.
Yeah, a little bit, a
And
little bit.
I think he's probably around 11 or 12%.
Okay.
My lender is like 8.25. So I
Damn.
can't complain at all. I'm
No.
very happy. No,
Yeah, eight and a quarter. Yeah, you're not
yeah,
complaining about that. And the real magic is he includes the repair. That's what makes
yeah.
this a no brainer,
Yes,
right?
and
Yeah.
the fact that he's allows me, it's not like I have to turn it. I self-report my numbers. I've done enough deals with him now that
Yeah. At
he
this
looks at
point.
me as the general contractor.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He's
That
like, hey,
makes
I'd
it easy.
rather you make sure you have enough money. Let's make sure we can get this deal to the finish line. Just
Yeah, because he
make
just
sure
wants
we
his
do
money
work.
back. Does he
Mm-hmm.
expect it to come back in 6 months? He
He don't
learned to
care.
expect that?
There's no prepayment penalty. There's no 4 months
Jack.
guaranteed interest. I mean, if I move a deal in 1 month, he don't care. He, he's told me, Rick, you're my best lender. What do you need? Let's make this thing happen. So I'm the best lendee, not lender. He's the
Lindy, I knew
lender.
what you meant. I knew what you meant. So this is a lot of fun. Here's a question for you. You know, you've already got a lot of success. You got 31 units. Why the heck do you join school?
Well, I love to give back. I'm always telling people, and I know they look at me funny. I was walked a property the other day and for a mobile home, and the guy he told me on the phone he wanted 50. By the time we got there, he now wants 58 or 61 because he talked to a wholesaler.
Oh, of course.
Of
Yeah.
course. So I just like in that situation, I told him, I said, listen, I may not be the highest bidder, but I'm guaranteed to close. But I'll go one step further. I don't care if I don't get the deal. If something
Yeah.
sounds fishy to you, give me a call. I'll give you my honest feedback, whether I get the deal or not.
Right.
And I I don't mind sewing back into people. Not to mention my mother and her fiance have recently joined your school community, Sissy
Nice.
and Joey Ballou.
Oh, yeah,
And
I just communicated with them. I did not know that you guys were together. That's awesome.
so he's been in contracting for 20, 30 years, but he's never done flips.
Okay.
So they're actually working on their first one right now. And I
Nice.
told her I recommended that she join the school community and I would join it too. So I
There
joined it
you
about a
go.
week before her. And I mean, like you said, $20 a month. I mean, you really,
Come
what is
on,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, 67 pennies a day. If you're gonna be in real estate, I put it at a price point that you just have to be in. There's so many people like yourself who have dozens of units, a decade of experience, and are oriented to giving back. That's my job at this point, is to keep trying to attract good people, so we just keep helping more and more. And this tribe, I don't know what else to call it, we're gonna be changing lives for decades. It's a lot of
It,
fun to watch from my level.
it's all about relationships.
Yes.
I have my 99% of my growth from the relationship with my grandmother,
Yep. That's true.
from the relationship with the head CPA that was willing to go 50-50 on me with buying a business, relationship with the guy that was willing to own or finance me the business.
Yeah.
And it's all relationships. You have to get out there, you have to meet people, and you have to be a man of your word.
Oh, that's absolutely right. That's amazing. Well, where is there any place people can reach out, follow you? You have a social media presence, Rick? Anything you want to point people at?
We do. My wife handles all of the social media, so I don't know all the handles.
Fair
But if
enough.
you go to our website, hisandhersinvestments.com, you can get to all of our social media through our website. Please follow us: Instagram, Facebook, all
Yeah.
the others, whatever else she's on.
Yeah.
And you'll see all of our flips that she likes to categorize and all her little funny
She's
videos.
doing all the work.
She loves that though, and she's now we homeschool our 8-year-old,
Oh,
and she's at
nice.
every property with us.
Oh, that's
She's
awesome.
pointing out, Dad, there's a leak over here. Well, thank you, baby.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good eye.
yeah,
That's awesome. So again, folks, it's his and hers. There's an S on the hers, investing.com, correct?
investments.
Oh, investment. Sorry.
Hisandhersinvestments.com.
His his and hers investment.com.
Yes.
There you go. I screwed that up. You know what? Let me put it in. I'm going to put it on a banner just so I can show you how sexy this. So it's his
And
and hers
hers investments with an
investments
S
with an S.com.
.com.
All right, let's get this in here. Let's show this. His and hers investments.com.
And she came up with that name, not me.
I was shocked that was available.
I was too. I was too. So we have had many people say, I really like that. And I'm like, well, it's all her idea.
Kudos to her. Well, we've said her a lot. What's your wife's first name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Great
Too.
name.
Yeah.
That great website name. Thank you for doing all your documentation on social media. Folks, go to hisandhersinvestments.com. Send them a note. Tell them you saw Rick on One Ritzel at a Time. Let's show some love. Rick, thank you so much.
Thank you too.